So this is kind of like a follow-on, let's say, like a video, like from the other video, like I did, let's say, like, kind of just outlining like the Jiang like Bagua like system. So I thought like maybe like just find it kind of maybe for some contrast and maybe to kind of talk about, let's say, like some practical like kind of perspectives of like kind of like training the form, like I just kind of like go through or walk through like some of my kind of like notes, and maybe just some compiled like observations like on my training experience like with Wang. um I suppose like really, let's say, like one of the big factors, let's say, like when training like any like a form, let's say, like is your stance work. um I mean, as part of, let's say, like the kind of the training like I did like one way UA when I was living in France. um we kind of spent like quite a bit of time, let's say, like just holding like each particular posture for maybe like 20 to 30 seconds before moving on to the next like posture. And it was done very much like kind of like in a way like to kind of like feel that you're stable, that you've got like a good rooting, and also like to kind of like feel that kind of body connection. So like when you are, let's say, like turning, you're getting kind of like the opening, compression. You're feeling like the lifting and the the pounding, let's say, like the twisting, like that coiling, like energy, like so you're moving through the form like really slowly like this, you know, doing all like the kind of like the moves, and you're getting to kind of like feel, let's say, like how your actual like your waist like coordinates with your transitioning like of your body weight like etc. And oftentimes, let's say, like we would do, let's say, like with the form, let's say, like moving between postures like for holding them maybe like for like 10 like to 30 seconds like before moving on like to the kind of the next, let's say, like maneuver. um Sometimes like when in the group kind of class like setting like moving through, let's say, like the form, it would have been done like very much at a kind of like a kind of a tai chi esque like pace. So like kind of really slow, let's say, like movements like kind of moving through the form, and kind of getting to feel that those big kind of like stretches. So like you remove like the helmet, getting that kind of like stretch like here, coming around, covering palm like etc., getting to feel those. And then like as you're stepping into the next, let's say, like position, like hold the moon in your chest, feeling that rising and compression like you're going on. So that was like another like a way we kind of, let's say, like trained like the form. The next like kind of like a way like that the form like was like trained like would be like the Lianhuanzhang like as in like the smooth, let's say, like kind of, let's say, like palm, let's say, like where you're moving through like the form like as if you're kind of, let's say, like just like floating like or like like water. No kind of, let's say, like heavy like martial like intent, like you're literally just getting your footing, let's say, like your stance like work, and you're kind of feeling and going through it, let's say, like softly, so it's all nice and kind of linked like together like smoothly. um then let's say, like the another like a way like of actually like training like the kind of like the form was, um like Wang, like on some of the kind of the senior students like Jean Philippe like etc., they would actually call out like the particular like a maneuver or posture, and it could be a random posture, let's say, like that we were doing. So we might have, let's say, like something like a fierce tiger X is the cave, and then you're told, let's say, like to kind of go to like remove the helmet. So like there's a number of options you can do here. You could either remove the helmet like with the front hand coming around, you know, or let's say like you could kind of, let's say, like go remove the helmet like go come around like with the back like this way, and then you start like kind of mixing and matching them like so like like you could have, let's say, like something like fierce tiger X as a cave, the fair lady like offers like the book, you know. You could then, let's say, like kind of come back down, let's say, like once again like black bear, let's say, like comes to earth. And then you could have like something like the rhinoceros like looks at the moon kind of. So you're learning like the maneuvers. You've learned the maneuvers like by learning like the form, let's say, overall. But then you're actually starting like to kind of like play like and kind of like chain them like in different like sequences. And that really, like when I kind of look back at like some of the kind of the other Shaolin like forms of martial arts, and some of the other Chinese like martial arts, it really does like kind of reinforce, let's say, like the neuroplasticity, like with that ability, like to be kind of like to change, like to be creative, let's like with your movements. And I think like that's one of the kind of the essential elements like of Chinese martial arts, like throughout like the centuries. As people move on, let's like when they review, let's like the material, people let's like start like adding, detract, taking away, refining, and like they sometimes end up like hybridizing like a material like as well, and you get a completely like a different like a kind of animal at the end of at the end of the day. Um, the the kind of the last let's say like a way of kind of let's say like training like the form was basically like to run through let's say like the palms like in different like sequences. So for example, we ran through the form let's say like from the eighth palm like go back to the first palm, which is it can be mentally very jarring, but it's a good exercise. The other let's say like a way of let's say like training it let's say would be to start like with the form let's say like on the right hand side and go through each one of the transitions like go to each one of the palms like go through 1 to 8, and then you do the same like going back on the left hand side. And then another way let's say like then like it was kind of like training it like with every second let's say like up palm. So basically you would do the first palm, skip the second, go on to the third, skip the fourth, go on to the fifth, skip the sixth, like you'll go on to the seventh, and then like you'd skip the eighth and go on to the second, and vice versa, like until you kind of get through like so many like different permutations like of it. I really kind of found like of kind of playing like with those kind of sequencings of the forms. They were really really useful for just getting like a kind of like a various like a different kind of plays like on the kind of movement and being able to move freely. So you've already integrated like the actual form into your body, into your muscle memory. Like now you're basically kind of like seeing like what the food, as in the form, is actually like providing to your body like at a later stage, where you can learn to kind of like improvise like on the fly, so to speak. And then I suppose that kind of leads into let's say like a kind of another like a kind of way we were kind of training let's say like some of the Bagua. And I mean at the later stages, like when I came back like from France, there were periods of time like where I actually like did kind of what you would describe as almost like a deep dive let's say like into the Baguazhang, like or the eight mother let's say like palm shapes. Like I'm talking like heaven, monkey offers like the fruit, like your earth, etc. And basically you would walk through let's say like the permutations of that like based like upon like the kind of like the I Ching. So basically you're doing 64 palm positions, walking like the circle. So you could have let's say something like kind of let's say like a wind like with the center like a palm, and then let's say like earth like palm let's say like at the back. You could have let's say like the fire let's say like coming up, and then earth. Like then you could have let's say like the mountain let's say like kind of coming out, and then earth. you know and you can have various like kind of like a different permutation. So you can have let's say like heaven, earth, you know all of these kind of like different things like kind of like playing out. And I suppose like that leads in like later on like to the kind of the various other like different like kind of palm shapes like within the form. Like I mean you have like this particular like position, like you have like the line rolls like the ball like as well. Obviously let's say like the green dragon like stretches its claws like or kind of milling palm, or um like this particular let's say like kind of like shape. Also like walking like just with earth, like walking around let's say like various. So you learn like to kind of like do a deep dive like on each one of these kind of permutations for nearly like, I mean there was one stage like I did like a walk through let's say like of each one of those, let's say like focusing on like the different energies like for nearly let's say like bones of let's say like 6 to 7 months, like just actually getting through every one of them in a kind of a logbook like a fashion. So like and walking like with the circle like with each one of them. Um, so I mean that's like a kind of some kind of perspectives of like a kind of I found over the last, let's say, like, it's coming up to 20 years like that I actually like learned like the Jiang like Lao Bajiang, or the old eight like Palm. I mean it's a really beautiful, let's say, like a form. There's a lot of like a kind of layers like to it. As I said before, there's a lot of like different like ways to kind of practice it, and I kind of gone through like some of those like examples there. And like by all means, if you've got any kind of like questions, or if if you want to kind of talk about your experiences of like your training like the Jiang form, or like any other like style like Bagua, like please feel free like to start a conversation like in the comments like section like but I'm going to kind of I'm going to move. We're already kind of coming up like to the kind of the 10 minute like section like here like on this particular like installment. But I think like the next like kind of couple of weeks like I'll be kind of talking about like some of the other techniques like in kind of, let's like fine detail, and kind of like talking about like some of the kind of the ways or ways of approaching like using them, let's like in combat. So thanks very much like for listening. As I said, any questions like feel free to ask them in the comments like section like or reach out to me by my email. Thanks.